Welcome to Talk to Brazil with Tom Reaoch, the business connector to business in Brazil. Talk to Brazil is a leading business podcast, talks with business experts throughout the world. I'm Tom Reaoch, an American known as the King of Networking, connecting people from my studio in Brazil. Today's guest joining us from Lisbon, Portugal, is Tiago Faria. He's a business mentor and anti-marketer. He helps online entrepreneurs turn small audiences into high profits without complex marketing strategies. Tiago also spent almost 8 years as an international growth consultant at Google in Dublin. So Tiago, what is your anti-marketing method?
Thank you, Tom. A true honor to be here. Thank you for the lovely introduction. So my anti-marketing approach is not that I'm an anti-marketer per se. I love marketing. It's my life, my hobby, my everything. I'm just anti what I was before I became what I am today. I'm anti the complex strategies people fall into in this area of going, to funnels, to ads, and very complicated and confusing strategies that keep us, a bit hunting down for shiny objects, trying to find a faster way to grow, etc. But I believe that is a trap that we fall into if we go into that area. I've been simplifying my approach to its core, all the marketing and all the business strategies to its core. And I truly believe that all of us have everything we need right now at this moment to start, grow in a very fun and sustainable business by just simply tapping into our established relationships. Okay, so we all have a customer list of people we've worked before in the past, or leads lists, people we've had sales calls with. We all have our contacts like family, friends, colleagues, LinkedIn connections.
Right.
And we all have an audience of some sort, either a LinkedIn audience, Facebook, or maybe even an email list of subscribers. And so we have these potential networking partners and potential clients around us that we most of us tend to forget about them and try to hunt always new audiences, new cold
somebody
audiences,
else, right? Yeah.
Somebody else around us, and we forget to let's look at it more in a strategic way about who is surrounding us, right? Because maybe they're not going to be the people that give us exactly the money for our offers, for our programs or services, but they can also help us get the money in other ways.
Right.
I'm a very big proponent and fan of referrals, right? So leveraging referrals in a proactive way. Very inspired by Mr. J. Abraham. I'm going to show the book that inspired me for this specific approach. So it's getting everything you can out of all you've got by J. Abraham. So I focused a lot on this last sentence, all you've got, for this. It was the basis of my current approach. And so for me, the first thing to ask is, okay, do I have something that my target audience actually needs? Does my offer give something that people actually want to desperately solve right now and desperately buy right now, right? So, and if not, that's exactly where we should start. And what I love to do is tap into our own established network and interview people that we believe are in our, niche. So we can interview past clients, past leads, even followers, and simply ask them questions. Something like what are your main frustrations? How's your day-to-day going by? How does it make you feel? What you want to achieve? Because then we can extract that emotional language, what people actually want to solve right now. And then we can create an offer around that, much more targeted, much more reflecting what people actually want to buy, instead of being in our own heads and trying to invent everything on our own.
I want to agree with you, because you made me think of really what real life is all about. Generally speaking, when we have a business, we start a business, everybody's out looking for the client. They want to find that, who's going to pay, who's going to buy. But for me as a networker, and I consider the essence of networking is what you said. I'm out there to create allies. Because not everybody that I know, and my extensive list of persons that I know, they're not going to buy. If I were to sell anything, they wouldn't all buy it. But what they all need to know is, what is it that I do and what is it that I sell, or what is it the service that I offer? Because back to the referrals which you mentioned, that's really the strongest part, is if somebody knows what you do and what you offer, and then they mention it, because almost on a daily basis I get, do you know somebody who?
Yes.
And yes, I do know somebody who, and if I don't know somebody who, I know somebody who knows.
Exactly.
And that's where the referrals come from. But most people, I tend to feel that they sort of underestimate that. They undervalue that. Because it's like you said, they're out looking for the new client. They want people to come in and buy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely true.
So to that, and then it's just what you're saying is use who you have. Use what you got.
Mm-hmm.
But use it, because many times we haven't, we don't use it. We don't make calls to people, just run an idea like you said. Many of my networking persons, I can just run ideas by them. Say, hey, I'm thinking about this. What do you think?
Everybody loves to give opinions, right?
So opinions.
Feedback. So it's an amazing place to start. Good that you referenced that, because it's an amazing habit to just create every day. I even love to track everything. So I put everything in a spreadsheet. Mm-hmm. So if I contacted at least 5 people today, did I ask for their opinion? Did I ask if they know someone who knows someone? Mm-hmm. But at least lose this fear. It's an incredible skill to acquire, to lose the fear of simply asking, and asking more often, right? We should not be afraid of showing what we have to offer to the world. And we never know who knows who. Everyone is usually wanting to help you. People want to help us by nature, right?
Certainly.
And we have to allow them to do that, right? we should not just be hiding all the time. And if you don't expose yourself, if you don't put yourself out there and what you do, it's going to be hard to do any kind of business, right? So that's incredible.
The olden days, it was as simple as just answering your phone. And today, rarely do we get phone calls anymore. But
That's
people
true.
can tap in. It could be a message. It could be a mail. It could be anything. It could be a connection on LinkedIn that you mentioned. But do we respond to that? What do we do? We're an example. And for our audience, I never met Tiago. Tiago never met me.
Yep.
But what I found was that you apply. I see you apply what you say. You were out there searching. You were looking for something. And I really don't know what, but you found something, or something found you that attracted us together. All right?
Yes.
And through that, then sent me information. You made a request. We back and forth with information very quickly, right? No big deal, no big hassle. And here we are in a podcast interview.
Yes.
And we're generating information for the world.
Exactly.
And it's to that point, and back to, say, your time at Google. Today, everything, the people are searching. People want. And so what we do as business persons, we can't be passive. We need to be able to attract, because there's somebody out there looking. And I guess you found that at Google. People were looking, and that's what Google's all about. They're just trying to put people together.
Absolutely. I found it very early. I actually started my path in solo as a solopreneur through my blog. So creating content that answers questions that I know people are asking online on Google. So matching that, knowing what people actually want, creating something that they want, right? And that's goes to the point I mentioned before about creating something that people want to solve right now, the problems they're feeling right now, the objectives they have. And it's creating business is all a matter of doing that, like knowing what people want to buy and giving it to them, right? And then being very proactive about sharing it to the world, and publishing content on your blog, on social media, but also reaching out to your network again. Here we go, right? Telling everyone around you. You never know. It's so true. This, like, even the person you've talked to like years ago in your university, if you just mention it to that person, oh, that's true, I actually know someone that would like to do that specific goal, right? And if you're proactive about this, you can even leverage having your own referral program where you incentivize those people to send over potential clients, and you can give them a potential like a referral commission for that, right? And you'll find that many people won't even want that commission. They just want to help you out. But there are some people that value, having an extra income or whatever, and also add to that the fact that they're helping you out. So it's all these conjunctions of actions that if you do daily, consistently, it's inevitable that you will have results, for yourself, because you'll have a community of people helping you grow, right? It's different than trying to do everything on your own. That's why I so much love this anti-marketing approach, which is not anti-marketing, it's just
what you're saying, we need to keep nurturing and increasing our community. It's not fixed. There's no fixed boundaries to the community.
Yes, exactly. So what I'm talking about is leveraging first what you have. We cannot forget about that, right? Even people that have established businesses, they forget to do that. And it could be a great cash injection if they need to hire someone new or start a new project. It's you will be surprised by how much extra money you could extract if you just tap into your established relationship. But then, of course, you need to keep working on growing your network, right? And that's where, for me, I love this approach of using podcasting, either with your own podcast, like you have. I also have my own podcast, being guests on other podcasts, because it's an amazing way to create relationships with highly influential, well-established and well-connected people, right? And then you can keep multiplying your network. And of course, you tap into new audiences, right? Like, because
we're talking about 8 billion people in the world. Now, 8 billion people.
It's insane.
It's endless. So the boundaries to community are really endless. And what you just said, we just have to nurture, keep what you have, contact who you have, but allow others to enter. Leave the door open, right?
Absolutely.
Now, your mentorship, I see on your LinkedIn profile, you offer a free diagnostic call. So what you do is remote. You're not knocking on doors, sitting down with people. Everything is video
online,
calls, right? Okay.
Yes.
So really, you have and looking for clients throughout the world.
Exactly. I was focused in Portugal for 5 years, my home country. Because I had this kind of belief that, Portugal, I'm more familiar with it. It's less competition here. But last year, one of my coaches told me, Tiago, Portugal, 10 million people. Again, to what you said, 8 billion people, but 1.8 billion English speakers in the world, and you speak perfect English. What are you doing, right?
I agree with you, because what I've done, my podcast, I have BBN, which is in Portuguese.
Yes.
Both my podcasts, they're English-centric. They're not country-centric. And if we look out again at the numbers, there are more people out in this world that speak English as second language than there are native English speakers.
Yes.
You're an example of that.
Exactly.
But there are just more people out there. So what I found, my successes come from just generating content that's reachable, that's accessible. So it's not specific to any country. And when we're talking about business, all right, in a business sense, everybody says, well, it's always different here. Even here in Brazil, I talk to people who are, no, Brazil's different. Well, every place certainly is different. But there are concepts, what you just mentioned, of working on the community that you have, nurturing. That's the same anywhere.
Universal. Yeah.
That's the same anywhere. It could be sitting down having a coffee or a tea or a glass of water, talking to somebody, just roaming around. And roaming around, we should do that going up and down the street, but we can roam around on the web.
Exactly.
And I think that's something that we have to nurture, because the business it's local, but growth is not necessarily local. So when we talk about wanting to scale up, it's the world out there it's not that we need to reach. We have to open ourselves up for the world to reach us. Because today, somebody says, well, do you know anybody in Portugal? Well, I know several people. But you know anybody who is a marketer, who's an anti-marketing mentor? Well, yes, now I do. So who could I recommend? Tiago. And from a Brazilian standpoint, from a business standpoint, from Brazilians, you're already in a unique location. You're in Portugal. The Brazilians, obviously, because they don't speak English, but they want to get out in the world, and that's one of the biggest challenges that many persons, not only in Brazil, but persons who don't speak the language, they need help.
Yeah.
They need help. They need the mentorship. They need to, how does it work? And I think that's where, like, again, your international growth consulting at Google, you probably learned a whole boatload of stuff there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was 8 years of like an MBA in practice, right? Like interacting with some of the biggest corporations in the world, and actually also worked with. So I was international growth consultant, consulting big corporations to export basically their business to other countries and to advertise on Google in different countries. And I actually worked with Brazil for like advising companies to go online to Brazil. And I remember that there's some nuances, like in terms of the payment methods. It's very, very specific in Brazil.
Right.
But yeah, as you say, the business at its core is the same everywhere. There are just some nuances you have to be more pay more attention to. But yeah, in the end, it's all the same.
Well, in your 8 years there, you've already seen too how the business and Google has changed. It evolves. Business in general, even Google as a business evolves on a daily basis.
Yeah. So it's like a month there corresponds to a year, because it's constantly changing, constantly trying to innovate, or seeing other competitors growing like crazy. And when I was there, Facebook ads were, growing insanely, and it was a very turmoiled environment. And yes, absolutely, you're absolutely right. It's very fast-paced. And I gained a lot of skill that I still to this day I use to my own business, especially the planning, planning the year, being very, very mathematical of how you plan your quarters, your goals, etc. Yes, I learned a ton. It was just that I got very fast tired of the corporate world, in the very fast paced corporate world, and I felt very limited there to only one specific product. I felt my creativity was a bit locked, and I felt quickly that I was psychologically unemployable. So I needed to start looking for my own path.
No, but that's good. We need to change ourselves, even as business persons. Now I want to ask you another question, because on the information you sent me, you consider yourself a digital business mentor in the help industry. How do you define what is the help industry?
Yes, I define it help industry as businesses that have the goal of helping others, or either people or companies, to solve specific problems or reach specific goals. So, for example, coaches or mentors of some sort, consultants, even service providers. So anyone that helps others solve problems. That's basically my main focus, that I love to help in this. It's a very specific industry. Which uses their own knowledge, right? Their own experience to help other people, and I focus mostly on those that have high ticket offers, because I do believe that this strategy that we talked about here, the anti-marketing, is much more efficient if you have high ticket offers, because the math just simply works, right? You don't need to have a ton of clients to reach your goals.
Right.
You could have just 2 to 5 clients, and you can reach fastly your monthly goals. But yeah, that's my specific niche, and I focus mostly on those that have been trying, different strategies to get clients consistently, like been trying to make reels on Instagram every day, and it kind of makes them feel uncomfortable. I don't want to do that every day. Or they wasted money on ads that just keep eating their budget.
Right.
And that's the only way they know how to do it. So that's exactly when I come in with the anti-marketing approach. Okay, you don't need to do any of that. You can tap into your own world. You have everything you need in your own world. And if you don't have, you can leverage other people's audiences and start creating network through podcasting. Yeah, that's basically
very basically, use what you have first. Very good. Well, Tiago, I want to thank you for sharing your time and expertise today. But how can our audience find you?
Yeah, so they can send me an email, first of all, if you have any questions about what we discussed here today, at tiago@tiagofaria.pt. We can probably put the links below. Or like you mentioned, I have a free diagnostics call if you want to talk with me and check if you have everything you need in your world, or if not, what could you do to start leveraging your current network, at tiagofaria.pt/call. And I also have my website, of course. You gave me great tips about that I definitely need to localize it, translate it to English. It's still in Portuguese, but you can, if you speak only English, you can use Google Translate at this point, while it's not fully translated. tiagofaria.pt. And yeah, that's where. Oh, you can find me on LinkedIn. It's easy to, if you search for Tiago Faria, I think I will be one of the firsts that shows up on Google.
Very good. Well, thanks again for being here.
Thanks so much, Tom. It was a true honor. Thank you.
Okay, and our listeners again, find more about Tiago Faria, and it's Tiago, the last name Faria. Find him on LinkedIn and his site, which is tiagofaria.pt. tiagofaria.pt. Talk to Brazil is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, specializes in market research for the Brazilian agricultural market. More about Focus MI on their site, focusmi.com. Remember, when you talk to Tom, you talk to the world. Goodbye, and thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to Tom Reaoch on Talk to Brazil, the business connector to Brazil.